Good and evil. Up and down. Salt and pepper. None of those were equivalent. Up and down are localized and relative directions. Salt and pepper? No, they're just two spices trying to get by. One is made from an acid and a base reacting with a metal, usually. The other is just a serendipitously achieved rod of piperine itself made from just common stuff. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. Those are literally the ingredients for glucose and nitrogen. Well, sans the precise tumble through the annals of causality. Anyway, what are some bads? Murder, racism, sexism, yep, those are bad. It sure feels sweet to say anybody who does that is evil. You get the nod from your peers, a grr from the people you don't listen to but are happy to upset. But I think that's just holding us back. Murder. Unforgivable. Allegedly excusable? Sometimes compensated, sometimes by the government. Then again, some people just do it for the love of the game, you know, amateurs. But the biggest stadiums for the biggest games are built with tax money. I propose that evil is a tapestry woven from fear, and that good and evil are utterly asymmetric forces. The same kind of flawed logic that led early humans to think the sun and moon were opposites or twins of sorts. So, fear, okay. Nobody ever shook in their boots so hard that somebody else ended up bloody. What gives? I believe that every act of violence, evil as a whole in fact, represents a fight for control and stability. For us, fundamentally cowardly creatures, whittled by nature to the point of mania, tuned for snakes and tigers evolved to evolve but unequipped to put down our tools. We are afraid that they are less afraid that they're playing less of a character than we have to. Sexism, dumbest shit, speedrunning this. It's fear. Where is it sneaking through this time? The feeling of self-consciousness. And loneliness? Depending on the time period, financial stability, security. Gotta do up my hair nice, hee. Gradually shifts to men only care about looks. If you let that take root, become a genuine part of you, you progress further up the golf course. You frog boil yourself towards an objective stance of, well, personally, in my heart, I know men are dumber. Because the version of men you created is genuinely dumber, it's just not the real one. Which is a sentiment one most certainly afforded for and by many historical figures, thanks to the imbalance of power and influence. For context, Google Saint Agatha. But every side always, felt the same thing. Obviously I don't need to explain that part to you, go to fucking Twitter. Just wear a hazmat suit. It never makes sense. Fear, when acted upon, when allowed to dye our pools of thoughts, the substrate of our experience, and by extension our existence, you pull the trigger. Sexism, racism, homophobia, their targets are innocent bystanders, nothing to aim at, let alone fire. Now, I did dredge something up from the silt surrounding my little nook in the cool abyss of pastel nihilism. Firstly, I propose that good ameliorates evil, which, as discussed, is fear wearing a fake mustache and glasses. Fear itself isn't a conviction, not really, it's a biological reaction. Try as we might to pry our minds away from the simple biomechanics by commissioning a new ontological shelf. Good is a conviction, a decision, one tested by every drop of cowardly acid that meets your kind base. It is our privilege to actuate good in an indifferent universe, to propagate causal acts of good and kindness, to neutralize fear not by destroying it but showing them that they could stand beside us, that we are the same, that they can stand on our side of the fence, that there doesn't need to be a fence. This may just be the infancy of our species or us wheezing our last geriatric breath. But we have already united the world more than ever. Have you noticed how those evil powers that be, and I say that mostly sarcastically, hide the bad stuff? No king ever hid his slaughter in the medieval times. He might have hid their own death tolls, you know, because of fear, his own and his man's. The shame of bad people, and their desire to normalize, to make common and agreed upon and safe their bad beliefs, is their fear manifesting. Or so I think. What do I know? Anyway, goodbye.